couple days ago, someone in my masterclass asked me, Brendan, when you go in and you hear some artists and they're soloing and they sound pretty good, they're getting the job done, but there's nothing really captivating, right? And then when you go to hear like Wynton Marsalis or these other players, there's something about them and their playing and their expressiveness that really draws you in. So I thought that was a fantastic question. I knew how to answer it immediately, and it really comes down to just one simple secret principle. I won't say it's a secret, but it's something that we don't normally think of when going to work on piano because we're so enthralled with learning the correct notes, the harmony and theory, what should we be playing, what should we not be playing. But again, in this particular podcast lesson episode, I'm going to dive into creating captivating and expressive improvisation solos that will really draw your audience in and help you develop the overarching theme of your improvisation every time you play. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Don't forget to go to jazzpianoschool.com to check out all the other amazing free education that we have available. And if you're interested in taking some next steps, there is a membership available and live programs like I just mentioned, my accelerator program and mastermind program. With that being said, let's dive right in. All right, so are you ready for the secret? Here it is. Textures and contrast. Textures and contrast. When you hear solos that sound like this, right? That if I kept doing that, that's going to get pretty boring, right? It's going to get pretty boring, pretty stale fast. And unfortunately, this is what happens a lot with students. And even me when I was first growing up, when I went to play the blues, right? The reason that this doesn't sound that appealing to the ear, and it doesn't really sound like jazz, is because there's no contrast and there's no differentiating textures. So the quicker you can really latch on to this tool and understand it and start to implement it into your own playing, even if you're a complete beginner, the better you're going to be. You have to have differentiating textures. You need different types of dynamics, right? Soft, movements, phrasing, all these things are going to help add on to your improv and just your playing in general. Like I'm mainly talking about improv right now. If I go into the high end of the piano, check it out. How much more interesting was that compared to what I just did before, right? Now, again, the reason for this, texture and contrast. So I'm going to go through a lot of different elements. I've actually done this quite a bit before, but I think it's always important that I keep coming back to it because it's really, really important. So again, dynamics, loud, soft, going from soft to loud and loud to soft, right? So in your improv, think about contours of your phrasing. Right? Really have shapes and movements to all your dynamics. Go for every register of the piano, right? High end, low end, right? Utilizing the low end of the piano is a great way to solo, especially for comping, right? A lot of gospel is really super low. Like that's the lowest area of the piano, even when I solo, right? Obviously, I'm playing quite loud, though. I can soften this up a little bit. So this low end of the piano, amazing. Same with the high end, right? If I keep my hand down low here, I mean, you can't even see that. It's so high on the piano, you can't even see it on the screen, right? I'm in the highest end of my piano. See all these little slides and textures I'm doing? Right? So use all areas of the piano. Use the high end, use the low end. 99% of the time I see a student play, even just an average or even a high-level pianist, right? They're usually the improvising really within here to here. Rarely do I hear a pianist that improvise outside of that area. And if I do, they're probably on a super high level, right? Think about it. When you hear these great pianists improvise, they're using the whole piano. Oscar, Keith Jarrett, Brad Meldo, all these people, they're going all over the piano. They're utilizing everything possible, okay? Think about other textures, slides, octaves, shakes, chords, comping, switching back and forth between all these textures, right? All this has to kind of happen, and you have to kind of isolate each one and practice each one. Octaves are fantastic. I don't hear enough students play octaves, even 4-note chords. Right? In your soloing, again, like I said, octaves are fantastic. The slides, dyads. All these different textures should be wrapped up, in your playing, moving back and forth. Okay? Trills. Lot of playing, right? A lot of playing is a texture, a little bit of playing is a texture, long run. So if I'm playing a lot, that's a texture in itself, right? And so if I'm playing a lot, right now, the less that I play, the texture that I moved to after a lot of notes was the little notes. And it had that much more of an impact on my solo because I went from a place with lots of notes, obviously. And if I kept doing that, to a certain extent, you'd be like, okay, I get the picture, right? What's the new texture? What's the new thing you're going to move to? And if you move to a new place of contrast, that's going to contrast what you just did. It's going to have such a huge impact, right? Just like if I play super loud, like if I'm going, and then I drop to super soft. You see what I did there, right? I started super soft and grew with my comping. You see how that's growing in dynamics? All of these things make such a huge difference. And the more you can latch onto this, I mean, again, you don't need to use a lot of complex tools, right? I'm using simple tools, octaves and voicings, even with one note. If I just did that with one note, that's still gonna sound awesome. Okay, so lots of space, lots of notes versus a little bit of notes. Okay, thick textures, like lots of thick textures versus super thin. Pedal versus no pedal. Maybe if I'm playing with pedal. it's all with pedal. And then maybe I switch back and forth. Maybe I go to no pedal. Holds versus short. Long versus short. Short. Long. Right? Short. Long. Short. Long. Again, still no pedal. Maybe I go to pedal. Again, the same thing there. So the more textures you can add in, all these different elements, right? The more developmental your solo can be, your improv, your comping, whatever it is, your solo piano, it can be anything. And think about the piano is a percussive instrument, right? You can do lots of comps. Sometimes I just even hit the piano in my solos, right? And then, go into something else, right? It's all about the creative expression that you really want to try and come out. And the only way to do this is kind of through experimentation, play around with certain concepts, get used to them, see how you like them, see how you don't like them. And you'll gain confidence. I know this is can be scary at first to kind of get out of your box and put yourself out there in these different types of expressions and textures, but once you start to play with them and work on them throughout the week, throughout the months, you start to develop a relationship with them and they become a part of you, a part of your voice in improvisation. So again, start small, just go through a lot of the textures I mentioned. Dyads, triads, octaves, low register, high register, middle, medium, low to medium, chordal comping, dynamics, loud to soft, soft to loud, everything in between, staccato, legato, right? Long, short, pedal, no pedal, all these textures, a lot of notes versus a little bit of notes. The more you can work on all these elements and put them into your improv and anything else that you're doing in music, the better off you're going to be instantly, and you're going to be captivating audiences when you solo because things aren't going to be boring. Things get stale when it stays the same. When you have the same texture in your improv or your solo for a long period of time. That's why you should really try to switch as many textures as possible. Rhythm, obviously, I didn't talk about that, but if you're just using eighth note lines, right? That's going to get kind of boring. That's why you want to have triplets, 16-note ornaments, right? Different types of polyrhythms, quarter note triplets, all that good stuff. The more contrast and rhythms, record yourself, listen back. What am I doing? Am I playing all eighth note lines? Okay, I got to add more rhythms in. Am I only playing triplets? Okay, I got to add 16th notes in. Am I only playing 16th notes? Am I playing too much? Am I playing too little? Okay, I got to add. If I'm playing a lot, then I got to add some space in. If I'm playing too little, then I got to add more in. Right? Am I playing segmented broken lines or am I playing long running lines that are just continuously flowing? Right? That would just be long. Obviously, I need some space at some point now, right? Maybe after that whole thing, then maybe I switch up my texture then. Okay, So again, work with them daily. I used to write them out on a piece of paper and just put them on my piano so I'd remember them. And anytime I went to sit down and play, even if I was working on a tool, a scale, a concept, a chord, I would try to incorporate different types of textures into that tool I was working on. And slowly but surely it started to integrate into my play. Okay? Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll talk to you later. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Don't forget to go to jazzpianoschool.com to check out all of our free, amazing education, all of the free podcast blogs. We do have a membership if you're looking to take a next step forward with us, get access to over 1,000 different jazz piano videos, playbooks, mini courses, a main course curriculum, success path, and so much more. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@jazzpianoschool.com. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, happy practicing.